Master P apologizes to Romeo after his son calls him a liar and a fraud. What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Okay. Family fights, family feuds, they happen, right? But most of them shouldn't be made public. But Lil Romeo, aka Romeo Miller, took an exception to his dad posting about the fallen dancer slash actor slash LSDJ Twitch. So I'm going to read what happened, and we're going to have a conversation. Master P and his son Romeo Miller were embroiled in a public back and forth after Romeo appeared to criticize his father's tribute to famed entertainer Stephen Twitch Boss, who died last week. Rest in peace to Stephen Boss. In his post, Romeo wrote, "Today was a boiling point. I seen a man avoid his own children's struggle with suicide and depression, but post another man whom passed away that he didn't even know. Y'all idols be lost. Better stop following the blind. Watch when it's revealed." Master P responded to his son Romeo, telling him, "Son, I love you. Stop trying to get people to feel sorry for you. And let's come up with a solution. You can come talk to your father and your family like a man. You have kids too. No family is perfect, but together with God, we can heal and get through this." That's what Master P responded to Romeo, who basically called him out for posting about Twitch, saying rest in peace and whatever else he was saying, which a lot of people did when it happened, right? The back and forth continued, with Romeo claiming that his father is addicted to social media and clout, and Master P claimed that Romeo is only worried about money. Master P later followed up with a video where he stated, "I don't care about an image. The bloggers can have their laughs for this week. I'm going to keep working, keep praying, and letting God guide me." In his latest video, Master P addressed Romeo, telling him, "I love my family. My door is always open for my son, and if I'm wrong, forgive me. I'm apologizing to you if I'm wrong. I'm still a work in progress. I came from nothing. Everybody goes through trauma. I'm dealing with this right now." He continued, "Let's do this in love. Let's do this in peace. Think about it. We're stronger together. But you're older now, so you got to lead by example for the rest of the kids. And we'll get through this. And I'm telling y'all, keep y'all prayers. We need it. And God's going to do what he's going to do." Last thing he said was, "I'm not going to come on here no more. So bloggers and everything else is cool. Whatever you want to deal with Romeo. Whatever y'all think he's saying is true or whatever, that's cool too. I can live with it. I'm at peace now. I had to speak my piece." I want to say this about what I feel about Romeo and Master P. I don't know either one of them personally, but I do know when someone's hurt. And I believe that Romeo is speaking from a place of hurt. And I believe a lot of what he said, because I didn't even tell you all of the stuff he wrote, right? If I'm not mistaken, Master P's daughter passed away. I could be off or wrong, but I believe that's what happened. And I believe Romeo is lashing out about his father's response. Now, the simple fact of the matter is, what Romeo is saying is stuff that only Romeo would be able to say, because he is his son, right? And everybody has issues with their parents and things of that nature, but only a person that's this involved in this hurt would come on and say the things he's saying. He's saying that his father's addicted to clout, and his father is faking for the cameras, and he said that him and all of his brothers and sisters have been living month to month since they were little, and his father hasn't been doing next to nothing, right? And he's also said that they're all broke right now, and he still does nothing for them. I was reading the comments where a lot of people were saying some people try to let their kids make it on their own, and a lot of people don't just hand over their money to their kids. With that being said, that is bullcrap, because when these other races bring their kids up, their kids get pulled up through nepotism. They get jobs, they get schools, they get all kind of opportunities based on the father's connections. So saying that Master P in some kind of way is doing something noble by not handing his kids money is garbage to me. right? You're going to hand them whatever you can. Whatever they need, you're going to try to get it to them, right? They have to let you know what they need, but if they need it, you're going to do your best to get it to them. Some kids are going to go out and do it on their own and make whatever happens happen in their own life for their own means. But when you have money of this magnitude, your kids shouldn't be struggling. Let's just be honest. And I want to say that I feel like little Romeo is older now, and that's why he's speaking now. He probably treats his kids much different and than what is being portrayed. And I don't believe it's one thing to not do it. It's another thing to portray it in the media as if you do. I personally, like again, I said I don't know Master P personally, but there have been a couple instances where I've looked at Percy a little sideways. A couple things that have happened, in my opinion, in the media pertaining to Master P, and even in the video that he made about his son, I feel like some of the things that he does is exactly for social media. And I believe it struck a nerve when his son called him out. I believe the second video that he made is another attempt, even though he is seemingly apologized. It doesn't sound like an apology of, I'm sorry for anything, because he didn't address anything that his son said about him. He addressed his son, about how his son should have came to him directly, which means you should have kept it out of the media. That is a fact. But at the end of the day, if you're living in the media and your son can barely get through to you, how else is he supposed to address you? Just like 50 Cent's son. I believe whatever 50 Cent done in the media, he has the right to do, because everything 50 does is in the media. Even attacking his son, 50 attacks his own son in the media. So I don't think that you have to distinguish one way or the other how the guy can respond when he's hurting with his dad, right? So end of the day, yeah, we could do it in the media. If that's what Lil Romeo wants to do, then Master P has to respond in the media. But I feel like the allegation of him looking for clout in the media, I'm starting to feel like a lot of our heroes of an older ilk are looking for clout in the media. I'm just sorry to tell you. I did a video a few weeks ago about Talib Kweli and Consequence having a full-on feud on Twitter on Instagram and wherever else against each other in full-on view of the public, right? You see it all the time with these rappers and these CEOs. They'll bring it straight to Twitter before they DM each other or they call each other. You see this guy, J. Prince Jr. Half the stuff more than half the stuff he does is going straight to the media, right? Why would you get NBA YoungBoy's keys and then do a video about, I got the keys to your that they stole from your house. Hit me up and we can get them back to you. Why would you do that? It makes no sense. I'm just keeping it a buck as an elder statesman and part of I'm not going to say a dying breed, but I'm part of an era that handled things very differently. It seems like some of my elder statesmen have moved into this era and they need the limelight. They've realized that without the limelight and adoration of social media and the people on there, they almost feel like they're obsolete. So they've been in and they fold and become these social media. I'm trying to find a respectful word, but what I want to say is they become a little too dependent on the limelight of it. Whereas they used to make their money other ways, now they figured out a way to make it with social media and to stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? Like P. Diddy, right? 50 Cent. I've already said Master P, J. Prince. They do a lot of things unnecessarily to stay relevant on social media to a different audience now. An audience now, if it didn't happen on social media, if I didn't see it, it didn't happen. If you don't have enough chains on, you're not really rich. If you don't show me your houses and your cars, you're not really rich enough to claim the things you want to say. And the situation with Master P and Kodak Black, I thought it was Master P's fault. I really, really do. He reached out saying he was going to help him and put him on game. And then when he got there, he tried to hit the young boy up for some money for his game. And Kodak Black, rightfully so, what these youngers are doing, this is why they don't respect the elders. If you're an elder, you should be getting your own money. You shouldn't be putting your arm around me, acting like you're going to help me, and then try to charge me a consultation fee and try to charge me for the game you're giving me. That's not what OGs do. I'm just keeping it a buck. This ain't the drug business. This is the music entertainment business. And The simple fact that you're gonna pull a young kid into your office, tell him you're gonna put him on game, you're gonna put him under your wing, and now you're gonna charge him. That's just like checking in, the extortion. Oh, when you come to my city, hit me up. Then when you get there, you got to send them 50 grand or do whatever you're going to send them. The so-called keep the wolves off your back, right? It's a new era where, in my day, that's friendly extortion, right? But now it's glorified on social media. Why didn't he check in? Why didn't he check in? He should have checked in, right? Now we got all this little stuff going on that makes you think that this is okay. I don't think it's okay. And I don't think that someone of Master P's brilliance, right, needs to be on social media at all. Like I said earlier, if his son wants to go to social media and he wants to respond on social media, that's good for you and do your thing. That's how it has to be. That's what it is. But I feel like, personally, it should never. The elder statesman should not be on there. He should not address this at all online. It should have never been a video. It should have never been nothing where you're defending yourself. You should have let it rock. The people going to decide how they decide anyway, right? Look at Kirk Franklin's son. When he came out with all his allegations, what did people do? They went and started making up their mind about him as opposed to Kirk, right? They started making up their mind about him. They started looking into him and being like, wait, something ain't adding up. So if you really in the right, and outside of it getting leaked like it did with Kirk, if you didn't get leaked, you shouldn't be on here addressing your son with this. I'm just going to be honest. And I know he has every right to address it and defend himself, and that's what you want to do. To me, look, when I watched the video, right, I watched his video response to Romeo. He didn't do anything but repeat a lot of old cliches. I'm not perfect. When you say stuff like I'm not perfect, that means what he's saying is true. Back in my day, if your response, if I hit you with a bunch of allegations about this and that, and you come back with I'm not a perfect man, that means what you're saying is true. And at the end of the day, if what he's saying is true, you have no right on here making no videos, because at that point, you're doing it for us. You're doing it for us. You ain't doing it for him. When I make a video back against my son and I put it in public, that's not for him at that point. That's for the people. You're trying to save face, and that's exactly what he said you was going to do. So my point is, Romeo, yeah, he's 30. I know he's 37. I don't know how old he is. He's in his 30s, right? I don't know what his age really is. But if he's on here telling the world that your public persona is not what your private behind the scenes persona is, and it means everything to you, your public image means everything to you, and your response is a clapback video, right? That's not for him. That ain't for him. That's for me and the people watching. So if we're going to talk about the so-called apology, right? I don't think it was an apology for Romeo. I think it was so people could start trying to decide whether they really want to believe Romeo or they want to go and say Master P's right. But it's to help with the public court of opinion. Because sometimes when you don't say nothing, then it look like you're wrong to people who mind thinks like they need everybody's approval out here in the real world, which is really the fake world, because a lot of people say stuff on social media they really don't mean, or they wouldn't really say in real life, right? So, end of the day, I feel like he never said, this is false. I don't have my kids living broke and destitute, right? He did address the how much it hurts to have a child pass, right? That is true. And I understand him saying that. But everything else on the video, I feel like was for social media to start saying, well, maybe Master P is really who we thought he was, and Romeo's the bad guy. It's trying to turn it back onto Romeo. And Romeo was the most loyal Even Lil Bow Wow's turning on Jermaine Dupri right now. Romeo was the most loyal, probably in hip hop history, kid that was famous that had a mentor above him. He was the most loyal. He already said 30 plus years. I did everything you needed. He said my money went to paying my dad's taxes off. So there's an amount of truth to this, and I'm going to say it again. I believe Master P is with this video saying I'm not perfect, is acknowledging that Romeo's right. So with that being said, there should have been no other than saying, son, you're right. There should be no video. Because you're trying to call into question what he's saying when we obviously could tell, which again, I understand he wants to speak out and have his voice heard, right? But sometimes when it's something this serious, you shouldn't have no voice. You should settle that with Romeo if that's what you really, truly want. That's just my opinion. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. CLBMG.com. Go check that out. Every Wednesday night, we live on my Facebook page doing the podcast, the Clash, the rap podcast. We talk about everything hip-hop. We get back to it in January. We on a holiday break. But make sure you come through and check it out. That goes straight to Facebook and then YouTube right after. All right. Also, CLBMG.com. We got new gear, new designs over there. We doing it up something crazy. I'm gonna catch you on the flip side. Peace.
CLB.